The world can be a dangerous place. Gear up with the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. Equipping your firearm with laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com and receive a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge. Crimson Trace.
Broadcasting on more than 140 great radio stations across the greatest country on the planet. Welcome to the #1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Tom Gresham's Gun Talk is on the air. Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, you've got the laser, now you need the training. Also, a new giveaway with an online optics company. And we're talking clay target throwers and reloading too. All this and more coming up today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Call us now at 1-866-825-5486. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
All righty. So glad you could be here. I am having a ball today. Let me tell you, we are going to have so much fun today. And it's going to be darned interesting, too. We've got some great guests lined up, some things to talk about. We're going to talk about optics, lights, lasers, what to get, and then we're going to talk about how to use them. And with a great trainer who, boy, has he got some information about how people screw up with their lights, particularly in for self-defense situations, and what you need to know and how do you use it. And this is really important stuff. And, of course, we'll be talking about some reloading. We'll also talk about some clay target throwers. And we'll talk about this story that just broke. Holy smokes. Dick Metcalf from Guns and Ammo writes a piece in Guns and Ammo. And Dick Metcalf has been a gun writer for, 30 years, 40 years. He is pretty much their lead gun writer for Guns and Ammo. And Peterson's, used to be Peterson's, now it's Intermedia Publications. And he writes this piece that says, some gun control regulations are okay. They're not really an infringement. And people are just going crazy, as you might imagine. So we will discuss that in just a little bit. Yeah, it's out there. If you get a chance, maybe you can do a little internet web searching for Dick Metcalf, Metcalf, and his Guns and Ammo column. It's pretty much everywhere. People are talking about it. Yeah, he says, we license cars, and you have to get a license to drive a car. And I'm thinking, no, you didn't do that, did you? Wow. And I've known Dick a long, long time. Wow. So anyway, we'll be talking about that. I guarantee you there are people who want to talk about that one. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN if you'd like to get in line for that. They're probably going to be a pretty good line of people, so you might want to jump in there right now. 866-825-5486. To join us right now, though, we got, how much we love giving away stuff around here. We're going to have another giveaway this month. Joining us right now is Steve Ledin. He is with opticsplanet.com. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Excellent. How are you, Tom?
I am great. I am just delighted to be able to bring the message of Optics Planet to everybody because, as you probably know, I am an optics geek. I am all about the lenses, the lights, the lasers, the stuff, anything you put on top of a gun, anything you look through binoculars, spotting scopes. I think it goes way back to my love of photography and lenses, and I love this stuff. And you've just got this most incredible website where you've got, I went over there a minute ago getting ready for this, and I'm thinking, oh, cool. I didn't know they had that. I want that. And so maybe that's what it's supposed to do because it's working on me, man.
If you were to, your listeners were to go to how to buy a rifle scope or how to choose a rifle scope, an article I wrote a few years ago, updated recently. But, a lot of people, even with high-end optics, they can't really tell the difference between a $1,000 scope and a $300 scope, and most people can't. You really have to put it on a resolution chart. You have to steady it. You can't hold it up in a shop and look at the clothing color under fluorescent lights. That's not really how you use a glass out in the field. So, I try and explain a few things in this article, why there are preposterously large objective lenses that it's kind of like drinking out of a fire hose in terms of exit pupil, and it's just a wasted size. And there's a lot of reasons to buy inexpensive glass, too. We would take the kids out with a few inexpensive 22s or something like this. That's a perfect platform for a $30, $40, $50 scope.
And in optics, I guess with everything else, yes, you do get more as you go toward the top of the line is what's expensive, but the increases become smaller and smaller per dollar spent at a certain point. So, I mean, if you said, okay, the top of the line for a rifle scope is, I don't know, $2,000, $3,000, somewhere between $500 and $1,000, you're probably already hitting about, what did you say, 80% level, and then after that, you're starting to add in the rest of it.
When you're getting to that very highest level, the Night Force Beasts, the Leupold Mark 8s, the
Right.
U.S. Optics, the Schmidt Benders, Tom, I don't use scopes that require that kind of bulletproof integrity. I'm not dragging my firearm and my scope behind a Humvee in the desert for a week at a time and then handing it off to someone else. I'm a hunter. I take as good of care of my expensive equipment as I can, but you're going to bang it coming out of the pickup truck. TSA is going to knock it around. It's going to fall out of a tree. Things happen to it, but when you're spending that incredible amount of money, you're really after something that is not going to be realized by us normal Joes and hunters.
And if people want it, and if they feel like they need it, and they have the money, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's a pleasure to look through it.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
They're fabulous.
Certainly repeatable. You can get a very repeatable scope that will move a quarter minute or a centimeter. For several $100s that will do that for your lifetime and probably your grandkids' lifetime. So you don't have to spend a mint to get a really, really great performing scope.
All right, let me ask you this question. And I've been getting this forever and ever, and I kind of have a pat answer, but I'm not sure I'm right with it. And that people say, well, how do I know if I'm getting a good scope? Because, just as you said, honestly, they all look good in the store. You pick them up, they look bright. Of course, it's a bright light out there. I mean, everything looks good when you just pick it up in perfect conditions. So how do you know if you're getting a good scope for your rifle?
Well, I would suggest to listen to folks like you and perhaps me that actually go out in the field and test these things. They test them for movement. They test them to shoot a box, make sure you have perfect return to zero, make sure you have good color saturation, edge to edge, basically that it's going to be a good scope. And unfortunately, if you're not in this kind of industry where you get to play with all these kind of things, the internet is there, and it's more helpful than not. Of course, it'll stir the pot once in a while,
Sure.
And the naysayers like to jump on bandwagons. But you can filter through that and really get a pretty good idea from testers and even individuals if the scope is going to be performing the way you want it to. Sometimes, though, people have really, really high expectations, and they don't plan on spending the appropriate dollar amount for a high-quality product. You do get what you pay for, yes.
Well, you really do. There's you're not going to get a super high-quality $69 rifle scope for your deer hunting rifle. It's just not, optics being optics, that's probably not going to happen.
And I and my guys will really try and steer you away from doing that. You're spending a week's vacation, $2,000 for a hunt out west. Maybe it's the hunt of your dreams. A lot of people will. Maybe even you bought a new value rifle. There's a lot of excellent value rifles out there. The Vanguard 2, the Axis. Great guns will throw a bullet straight and go bang every time. But this is not the time to put that $69 scope on that rifle.
Not when you got everything riding on it. All right. Do you have and you're talking about your articles? Do you have information like how to choose and what to look for on your website? Is that it?
Absolutely. You could go to the how-to guides on opticsplanet.com, and I try and make it simple enough for the not really well-versed person to assimilate. But I try and cover pretty much everything. And the how-to guides are written by me and a couple of my guys, and maybe it's about rangefinders or a spotting scope. Can you really see a bullet hole at 500 yards? A rangefinder. Is a 1,000-yard rangefinder going to read 1,000 yards on a deer? Well, the answer to that is no. Most people don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, the side of a house, a tank,
sure,
maybe.
A large
but
reflective object, it will.
Yeah,
yes.
you got a brown deer against some brown bushes out there. It's probably not going to happen at 1,000. But what it can do is it can tell you the difference between 400 and 500 or 300 and 500, which may be your shoot and don't shoot equation.
Sure. I was just filming a video for a local station up here, and I was in a tree at about a 40-degree angle with a deer 40 yards away. That's 34 yards horizontally, but as the eye sees, it's 40 yards. So that 6 yards could be an easy miss with an arrow.
Well, that's right. For archers,
Absolutely.
6 yards, 10 yards is huge. So,
the confusion about should I aim high or low, if I'm low or high, it's basically set to horizontal distance. So
it's trigonometry.
That option that's readily available in a lot of rangefinders right now is one of the best attributes of these new products that's come out in a long time.
That is so cool. By the way, we need to mention that you guys have teamed up with us, and we're giving away stuff on our Gun Talk giveaway this month. If people go to guntalk.com/win, they can take a look at it. And I'm looking at it. We are giving away, what are we giving away? Crimson Trace Railmaster Universal Green Laser Sight and a Crimson Trace Railmaster Universal Tactical Light, both of them from Optics Planet.
I saw Ryan out at the Crimson Trace 3-gun shoot, right, and we spoke a little bit. And I'm an older school kind of fella, front sight. Mm-hmm. But this Crimson Trace 3-gun match really rolled me over because there's no way I could have shot in competition as well as I did without lights and lasers. There's no way that I could have found those targets without lights and lasers nearly as easily as I did. It really converted me, I'm not an easy guy to convert.
You see, I'm the same way. I'm old school, which means both of us are a little older than Ryan.
Yeah.
So we come from you got good sights, just learn to use your sights. Well, what if there's no light out there, partner? And that's what we were looking at. There's no light. And for a self-defense situation, put aside competition, you say, I need to know if this is really a threat. I can't just start shooting. That's not responsible. So we need the light. And then, we got a light, but maybe in certain circumstances, you still can't see your sights. You can't use your optic, and that's where the laser comes in. And it's fast. I mean, when you drop the laser on it in the darkness, throw a light on it, put the laser on it, you can identify the threat, and wherever the laser is, that's where a bullet goes.
I did a little piece on Rifle Scope blog, that's my blog, about the Crimson Trace shoot. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, my new barbecue gun is now the gun I used in the pistol stages. So it's a Glock 19 with a light and a laser, and everything is right there. Compact gun. It's part of me, and I can't believe they really rolled me over that hard to make me switch my firearms of choice.
It's hard to imagine. They say, well, I guess maybe I've been a little bit, wrong all these years. It's hard for us to say that. But, man, you guys have got some cool stuff, Steve. I appreciate you joining us.
Pleasure.
Again, it's opticsplanet.com, where you can not only see the gear that you guys sell, but the information, the articles that you have on essentially how to be a smarter shopper.
Well, I hope so, and there's almost 1 million SKUs right now. We just moved to a bigger warehouse, 300,000 square feet. We're up. That warehouse move allowed us to bring in about 40% more product in-house than we had it this time last year. So the offerings are not just greater, but the service and speed will be better also. So it's a pretty dynamic place, Tom.
Sounds great. Opticsplanet.com. Steve, thanks so much for your help on this, and I look forward to chatting with you again. We'll go seriously optics geek sometime.
Be glad. Good day to you, sir.
All right, you take care. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. We'll get you in here. 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition, and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit SigSauer.com today.
Here's the deal. We're ammo to go. Ammo? You need it. We've got it. Low prices. You want it? We've got it. Selection and fast shipping. Yeah, we've got that too. Rifle ammo, pistol ammo, tracers, magazines, targets, ammo cans. Come on. Sure, we've got all that. Primers, pepper spray, knives. Hey, I'm just getting started. You need it. We've got it. AmmoToGo.com. ammotogo.com.
The Ruger SR-45, a large caliber pistol with a trim, ergonomic profile. Like the popular Ruger SR-9 and SR-40, the SR-45 is perfectly sized to be comfortable and controllable with a slim, ergonomic grip and narrow slide. It features an adjustable 3-dot sight system, Ruger's unique reversible back strap, an ambidextrous manual safety and magazine release, and built-in Picatinny rail. The Ruger SR-45, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
It's great to make something with your own hands. When you reload, the whole family can get involved, including breaking more targets and bagging more birds. Mech reloaders have been the center of family activities for generations. Plus, you can save money and stock up, even when there's nothing in the stores. 10, 12, 16, 20, 28, and 410. Any gauge. Get started reloading. Visit mechreloaders.com. That's MECreloaders.com.
In the field or on the range, you need a trigger you can trust. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. A Timney trigger could mean the difference between a great shot and a miss. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. To order, go to timneytriggers.com. That's TIMNEY triggers.com.
You may be a new shooter, a longtime gun owner, or even a police officer or soldier. No personal defense handgun is fully equipped without a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge. Crimson Trace.
Hello?
Hi, honey. What are you looking for in the safe?
Oh, I was just... Wait a second. How'd you know I was in the safe?
Oh, because I put in Liberty's Safe Alert security system, so now it sends me an alert whenever the door is open.
Well, aren't you smart?
But that's not all, honey. Safe Alert also warns me when the temperature is too cold or too hot. It even tells me when the safe has been jostled. I can even find out what the humidity is inside the safe. Best part is, honey, it works in any safe.
So you knew right away when I opened the door? How does it let you know?
Well, it sends an alert directly to my cell phone. I've got a 3-year plan, so it's only $39.95 a year for monitoring, and it only took a few minutes for me to install.
Now we don't have to worry when we're out of town. We'll know what's going on with the safe.
And I'll know my guns are safe.
And my jewelry and the family photos.
Yep. We'll add your phone for free, so we both get the alerts.
For more information on Safe Alert, go to libertysafe.com. That's libertysafe.com.
You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, the original nationally syndicated radio talk show about firearms, shooting, and your Second Amendment rights.
Putting more guns in people's hands actually does them a service.
Give Tom a call at 1-866-825-5486. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUNS, or email tom@guntalk.com.
They're there to protect us.
Now, back to Gun Talk. Here's Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you here. We got the whole team in here, and we've been they're working hard keeping us on the air today. We had some tech issues, and we're there. You got Jim Kinsey running the board. Michelle Cleland's over there taking your calls and keeping me straight because she probably knows as much about this stuff as I do, which is really nice. So you just give us a holler. We'll chat about it. And if you hear me do something that you're thinking, I'm not sure about that. If you hear me say something you think, I think maybe he made a mistake, well, call me on it. Hey, I make mistakes too. It's just that I do it in front of an awful lot of people when I do it. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Line 3. Ken's with us. Jackson, Mississippi. Hey, Ken. Talking about optics, huh?
Tom, how are you, sir?
I'm good. What's this about your buddy got him some serious coin and some optics?
I don't know. I shoot older guns. I shoot iron sights only, Creedmoor. Mm-hmm. I'm a cowboy gun fan, and I don't know anything about optics, but I have an associate that had a custom rifle made and everything. I don't know. It was rather expensive, but he says, a rather expensive sighting device on this rifle. And he quoted me an outrageous thing. He says, price. He says that it's a heat sensing, distance finding, and he said something about GPS. I know nothing about optics. He paid in excess of $25,000 for this sighting device. I don't know if he's pulling my chain. I'm not going to question he's actually a customer, and so I don't question. I just said, oh, man, I'm proud for you.
Yeah,
but I'm very skeptical about this price.
Well, here's the deal. He's right. Now, I don't know if he owns this thing. I can't verify that. But there most definitely are optics that are heat sensing, which is thermal, distance finding, which is laser rangefinder, have GPS built in. All you have to do on a lot of these is you have to input the wind because it doesn't have a little anemometer or thing up on top of the scope. So you put in whatever the crosswind component is, and it can actually move the crosshair. So you just hold on, and you don't have to hold off. You don't have to hold over. You don't do anything. You just put it on, pull the trigger, and there you go.
Wow. Well, I'm not going to shoot against him with Creedmoor sights.
No, that probably wouldn't be a good deal. You know what's
Tom, I enjoy your show every time I can get you on the air, and I just really appreciate you. And keep up the good work, Tom.
I appreciate it, Ken. Thanks. You take care. You know what's driving all this, don't you? I mean, yeah, we've got the whole interest in a lot of this was developed for the military, particularly Afghanistan, Iraq, that kind of thing. They're doing long-range shooting over there. But over here, this is going to sound weird. Believe it or not, what's driving a lot of this is hogs. People are buying night vision. They're buying thermal imaging scopes. They're spending incredible amounts of money to shoot hogs at night. Well, for one thing, in many states, it's year-round. So it's, you don't have a season for them. There's no limit on them. The landowners want you on their land to shoot these critters because they're just varmints and they've got to get rid of them. Because, the Department of Agriculture is actually going in and killing them by the hundreds. So they'd like for you to do it. So for a lot of folks, I can go hunting year-round. I can do it at night. There's no limit. And I can throw tons of gear and money at it, which is, for a lot of folks, that's a good bit of the fun, too. So believe it or not, hog hunting is driving the development of some high-end optics and guns. We're going to be doing a lot more of that on Gun Talk Television and Guns and Gear. You'll see what we've been up to here. We're using lights, lasers, thermal, night vision, and some other cool stuff. When we come back, we'll talk about what's going on with Dick Metcalf.
Have you taken your family, friends, and kids shooting lately? You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, and we'll be right back. Want to be a guest on the show? Drop us a line at info@guntalk.com. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. 866-825-5486. I'm Tom Gresham. Oh, yeah, you can enter for a chance to win some cool stuff. Go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N. You enter. And by the way, when you enter, you also are signing up for the True Squad. You can always unsign up, but I don't know why you would. It's a free newsletter we send out whenever I get around to it. You just get an email from me with some news. And the True Squad members are folks who basically have said, yeah, I'm willing. I'll send a letter. I'll speak up. I'll say something for gun rights. Every time the media, when they get it wrong, I'll speak up and call them on it. That's all we ask. It's not a big commitment, but it's an important commitment. Well, speaking of gun rights, I don't know what to make of this. I've known Dick Metcalf for many, many years. I've done television with him, shot with him, been to his home. Dick Metcalf is a writer for Guns and Ammo magazine, Shooting Times, other magazines. Gun writer. In the, it appears, December issue, and this just, it's all came to my attention this morning. I've been traveling. December issue of Guns and Ammo magazine, a column called The Backstop, says, let's talk limits. Do certain firearms regulations really constitute infringement? First paragraph says, the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Note carefully, Those last four words say, shall not be infringed. They do not say, shall not be regulated. Well, well-regulated, he continues, is in fact the initial criteria of the amendment itself. He says, I bring this up because way too many gun owners still seem to believe that any regulation of the right to keep and bear arms is an infringement. And he goes on to say that regulating your gun rights is not an infringement. And then he drops into the age-old, tired, disproven, and specious argument about, well, of course, you can't shout fire in a crowded theater. Well, actually, you can. Nobody prevents you from doing that. What the law says is you can't shout fire in a crowded theater if there's no fire and if it causes people to get hurt. There is no one. Here's the difference. Gun control is not like saying, well, you can't shout fire in a crowded theater. Gun control is like everybody who goes into a theater gets duct tape slapped over their mouths, making it impossible to shout fire in a crowded theater. And what if the place is on fire? Oh, yeah. So if you want to combine these, work the analogy, then having a gun, yes, it should be and is illegal to use it illegally. It is illegal to use it to harm people when you're not doing so in self-defense. But what if you do need it to protect yourself and others in self-defense? The idea of equating this old, you can't yell fire in a theater idea with saying, well, that's a regulation on free speech, on your First Amendment rights. It's not a restriction. Okay, understand, what it says is you can't cause other people harm with your First Amendment rights. Just as we say, you can't cause other people harm with your Second Amendment rights. Clearly, the out on that, if you will, is unless, of course, you are saving yourself or other people. I don't know what Metcalf is thinking, but it goes on and on. He says, well, some people say that having to get training before you get a concealed carry class is a restriction. Of course it is. Of course it is. You have the right to carry a gun. It is in the Constitution. You have the right. If you have to say, Mother, may I, to the government, you no longer have a right. It now becomes permission. It becomes a privilege. A right is something you don't have to ask somebody to give you. A right is something you just have. And then he says, well, in Illinois, we now have concealed carry, but you're going to have to take 16 hours, and I think that's pretty good. And there are some people who say that's too much. Here's the deal. In some states, there's no requirement for training. In some states, you're required to have 4 hours. In some states, you're required to have 8 hours. And now in Illinois, you're required to have 16 hours of training before you get your carry permit. What if, just saying, what if they said, okay, well, that's not really enough to make us happy. We are going to require you to have 40 hours of training. And we're going to require you to have $10 million worth of liability insurance. Oh, that's not infringement. It's just a regulation. No, every single piece of regulation is, in fact, an infringement. Now, people are all over the internet. They're going crazy. They're saying, well, we got to boycott guns now. We're going to call for Metcalf's firing. Well, no, come on, people. If a guy has been good for 30 or 40 years and he writes something that you disagree with, do you just decide you're going to destroy him, a la Mr. Zumbo, Jim Zumbo, who, by the way, turned out to be one of the best salesmen for AR-15s ever, and once he learned, he didn't know anything about ARs, once he learned about it, became a staunch supporter and user of AR-15 type rifles. We are really quick, aren't we, to turn and destroy our own. We are amazingly adept at turning and kneecapping our buddies. In fact, we will, in the gun world, we will respond much more quickly and much more forcefully to destroy one of our own than we will to fight gun control from gun banners. Could be it's because we have a strong sense of, maybe being betrayed. I'm not sure what that's all about. But there's something there. But at the same time, I don't know what he's talking about here. And Metcalf goes on, he says, well, he wrote part of the Firearms Owners Protection Act, and he worked with McClure, and yeah, I get it. I know you got some credentials, but man, this is just wrong. It's wrong, man. Dick, come back. I don't know where you went. I don't know why you took a little walkabout on common sense here, but you got to come back. What do you think? What do you think about Dick Metcalf's idea that regulation of your gun rights is not necessarily infringement of your gun rights? 866-825-5486. Be right back.
Have you ever held a Walther? Walther handguns are an extension of your hand. From the moment you hold the ergonomic grip of a Walther, you feel the difference. Today, Walther continues its long tradition of expertise in firearm design with the introduction of 3 incredible new handguns: the smooth PPQ-M2, the tough PPX, and the cool PPKS-22. Log on now at waltherarms.com. Walther at your favorite retailer.
TopGunSupply.com carries a large selection of fine firearms and accessories. Get all the parts you need for your Sig Sauer, HK, and Glock pistols. Grips, screws, recoil springs, sights, barrels, magazines, holsters. The list goes on. Our knowledgeable sales staff, professional service, great prices, and super fast shipping are here to help you. Check us out today. TopGunSupply.com. TopGunSupply.com.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to springfieldarmory.com. That's springfieldarmory.com.
Professionals who depend on their weapon depend on XS Sights, the leader in American-made gunfighter night sights for personal and home defense. One dot, one solution. See demonstration videos from top trainers and industry leaders at XSSights.com. Upgrade your carry gun, rifle, and tactical shotgun with XS Sights. Contact XS Sights at 888-744-4880 or visit XSSights.com. If you need a gun, you need XS Sights.
You bet your life on your defense ammo. Get the proven performance of Nosler bullets in the new Nosler Defense Ammunition. Featuring the same technology as the famous AccuBond line. Polymer tipper hollow point. Bonded performance handgun bullets for weight retention and barrier penetration. Available only in Nosler Defense Ammunition in 9mm, 40, and 45 caliber. Also available in 223 with a 64-grain bullet. Visit Nosler.com.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
You know, I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right, back with you here. By the way, I'm sure people will say, well, why haven't you invited Metcalf on the show to talk about this? Well, actually, We started a couple of hours ago, and I've got lots of contact information for Dick. So for all I know, he's in Africa or he's traveling somewhere, so he may not be available. But just for the record, we have in fact invited him to be on, and if not this week, we'll try to do it next week. Let's talk to Bob. He's on line 1. He's in the car, of course. Hey, Bob, what's this about scopes and bullet drop?
Yeah, Tom, thanks for taking the call. This is the first time I ever talked to you, and I rarely get to listen to you because we were from Maryland. Now we're headed to Wyoming.
Oh, you're going to like it. You're going to like it a lot.
We do like it, that's for sure. There's been some talk about bullet drop compensation and range-finding reticles and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I have my own personal preference, but what are your thoughts on that?
Now, I gather you have the Shepherd scopes, right? Those with the circles on them for the range-finding?
Yeah, we have 3 of them. My wife has one on our 30-06. I've got one on an M1A and one on a 50 BMG.
How far out have you tried using the system, the Shepherd system? What distance?
Out to about 660 yards with the 50.
How did it work?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so how did it work for you?
It works okay. I'm an engineer, and I do a lot of rifle ballistics work, amateur work, and political action work. Mm-hmm. And by the way, what you were saying just 5 minutes ago was right on the money. What happens is it's the best guess what the ballistics is that you happen to be shooting. Mm-hmm. You can tweak the bullet drop a little bit by just pulling the whole reticle up and down and kind of customize it for a range, like 200 to 400 yards or 400 to 600 or whatever it is.
Right.
But the bullet drop is not dead on for everything you shoot. They're getting around to that. You were talking about that earlier, and I talked to Dan Shepard when he was building these scopes and designing it, and I was talking to him about the bullet drop for the 50, and I said, Dan, there's something wrong. It doesn't match up with my ballistic tables. And he said, yeah, you're right. It's kind of a compromise, and there should be one in between 2 of the reticles he has. He never produced one. Unfortunately, Dan passed away a couple of years ago, but his wife, Bess, has taken over, and she appears to still be running Shepherd scopes.
All right. Well, to your question, here's the thing. The Shepherd system it's a good approximation. It's a very quick system, and so it does that. But if you really want to be more precise, the system that has come out of the military and now is being adopted by long-range shooters pretty much everywhere is a combination of really 2 really important things. One is the laser rangefinder, which has become really good. I mean, 10, 20 years ago, not so good, but now these things are real good. First, you've got to know exactly how far it is. Number 2, you have to know exactly what your rifle does at those distances, and that's achieved by going out and actually shooting it, not using the drop tables, and developing your own tables, your own load data, your dope, if you will, so that when you look at that, you say, okay, that is 498 yards. You go to your book, and it says that is X number of clicks, that's X number of minutes, it's mils, it's whatever you're using, and you simply turn the reticle. You move the reticle on your scope, but you need a scope that's made specifically for that. You can't use like the old-style hunting scope where you put a coin on top and do that. It's got to be repeatable. So that system works really, really well, and you can dial the drop in. But let me quickly say this. It's not the bullet drop that's difficult. And every single shooter, long-range shooter, tells me the same thing. Dialing and drop is easy. You zap it, you know how far it is, you dial it in, that's done. Forget about it, it's done. Wind, it's all about the wind. And the way you learn to shoot wind is you go out and shoot with people who know how to shoot wind. You get involved in long-range shooting and high-power shooting and F-class shooting. It's somewhere. You go somewhere where they do it, and you talk to people who do it, and you look through their scopes, you look through their spotting scopes, and they'll say, okay, you see what's going over there? And I'll shoot. And you see where your bullets hit? Yeah, like Camp Perry, exactly right. That's fun stuff. And when you master it, let me tell you, you will have a sense of achievement like you've never had in shooting.
You don't have to agree with Tom to participate in the show. Call now with any of your concerns about guns, gun rights, or particular firearms, or suggestions for your shooting activity or personal protection. 1-866-825-5486. Gun Talk is coming right back. Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk. Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right, straight to the phones. Sean, correction, that's John, is on line 2 in Pennsylvania. Hey, John, talk to me about your muzzleloader.
Okay, Tom, thank you for having me on. Mm-hmm. From 1,000-yard shooting to a flintlock. Here in Pennsylvania, for our muzzleloader season, we must use flintlocks with iron sights.
Right.
My eyes are getting pretty bad. I noticed this year I'm having a hard time looking at those buckhorn-style sights. Mm-hmm. Is there anybody that you know that makes a military-style peep sight for the front and rear? I have a Pedersoli Jaeger 54 cal. Now, I contacted Pedersoli. I've got no response. Dixie Gunworks makes a fiber optic set, but I'm not 100% sure fiber optics are legal.
Yeah, and Pennsylvania has some interesting regs. You know who I would go to for this? Right off the bat, I would just call the guys at Brownells. They've got like a dozen gunsmiths who work there, and just call Brownells and ask them to speak to their techs and go back there and say, look, this is what I got. And they will know who's the go-to guy or gal on this. And they'll go, oh, okay, here's a way to go. And they sell all these sites, but they'll know what would work and how to install it on your rifle. Brownells.com is the website. I'm hoping you're familiar with Brownells.
Yes, I am. I never thought of them because they're new, not old.
That's the way to go. Call the guys at Brownells. They're there Monday morning. Call them tomorrow morning. And just say, here's what I got, this is what I want to do. And they'll go, okay, here's like 3 different ways to go, and this is what we would do. That's absolutely what I would do.
Thanks.
All right, listen, you take care. Appreciate that call. Let's see. Line 4, Sean, Pensacola, Florida. Sean, ask the question quickly because we don't have a lot of time and it's pretty involved.
Okay, Tom. Yeah, I realize it's a simple question, multiplex answer. Right. As my eyes have gotten older, and I'll be 70 next year, okay, I've got a couple 30 caliber rifles that I decided long ago I wanted to get some optics on, and I've been reading in the papers, in the magazines, and educating myself as best I can. Could you please give me an explanation of the difference on the reticle between the first focal plane and the second focal plane?
Sure, it is, and there's several places online you can get this, but essentially, what you've got is it's a matter of do the crosshairs or if you will, the reticle, do they change size as you zoom or change the power setting? So the front focal plane, which is what the tactical guys use, the reticle stays the same size because they use that for measuring distance or subtension between maybe a duplex or dots on their scope. Hunters generally, at least in the U.S., seem to prefer rear focal plane or second focal plane reticles or crosshairs because the crosshairs are fatter at low power. I like that. I like that for hunting. I like a big fat crosshair when I'm down at a 1 power or 2 power because probably I'm shooting up close. I may be hunting in brush. I may have to shoot fast. I don't want thin lines on my crosshairs. I want fat lines. I like a duplex, big fat system of something. And so I like that rear focal plane system that we use for hunting. But if you're going to be doing a lot of long-range shooting, tactical type, having to dial in everything, you're probably going to go to the front focal plane, or what's also called a first focal plane system. Yeah, for more information on it, you can always look online, but honestly, for most hunting situations, for what we do, I think the second or rear focal plane system works better. I am a huge believer in lower magnification for hunting. You give me a 1 to 4, or now they've even got like a 1.2 to 8. God, I love those things. All right, when we come back, more on the Metcalf saga.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.